Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about section 5.3, writing equations given 2 points. So the last couple days we've kind of stepped up the information that I give you, giving you less and less, and we are still trying to write equations of lines, and we're still going to use our slope-intercept form, which if you remember is y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. Know that by name. Okay. So if we're going to write the equation of the line that passes through the points 1, 6, and 3, negative 4. Just like I told you guys at the beginning of the chapter, just like I told you guys in the last section, the first thing you need to have before you can write the equation of the line is slope. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. Remember, your slope formula, m is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Okay, doesn't matter what you call x sub 1 or x sub 2. I'm going to call 1, 6, x sub 1, y sub 1, and 3, negative 4 is going to be x sub 2, y sub 2. Okay, you flip those around. I just usually look to see and make sure that I can get, if there's a way that I can get easier subtraction, I go for that. Otherwise, it's not really a huge deal. So for my slope, I'm going to take negative 4 minus 6 divided by 3 minus 1. Which, when I subtract those, I get negative 10 divided by 2, also known as negative 5. So I have a slope of negative 5, which means I can write the equation y equals negative 5x plus b. Now, this should be right where I left you guys off yesterday. And we can use one of our points. Now, it does not matter whether you choose 1, 6, or 3, negative 4, but we need to plug in one of those points. Now, looking from your guys' perspective, I know you guys don't like negative numbers, so I'm probably not going to use 3, negative 4. You could. It does not matter. You would get the exact same answer. Okay, but for whatever reason, you guys like positive numbers more than negative numbers, even though they're the exact same. You can plug in 6 is equal to negative 5 times 1 plus b. And now we have a regular equation that we have been solving for quite some time now. So I multiply my negative 5 and my 1, so I get negative 5 plus b. And I add my 5 to both sides, and I get 11 is equal to b. The last step, once you have that b value, plug it in to your equation, give me the whole thing nice and neat, make it look good. So your final answer should be y equals negative 5x plus 11. And there's the equation of our line in that slope-intercept form, and everything looks great. So, general steps, if you are someone who likes to follow the exact same steps every time, okay, first thing you got to do, find your slope. Okay, that is the most important thing you do when you're writing the equation of a line. Okay, get that slope right away, whether it's from a graph, whether it's from your slope formula. Again, here is your slope formula that we have been working with since last chapter. Okay, then we're going to find our y-intercept. Okay, plug one of your points in to your equation and solve for b. Again, it does not matter what point you choose. You will get the exact same answer no matter what. And then once you have that y-intercept, make your equation look nice, neat, and clean. Give me that full equation with m and b filled in. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to write the equations of lines AB and BC. So I'm going to highlight these, kind of color code them a little bit so you guys know what's going with what. So AB is that line right there. So the 2 points that I'm going to work with are negative 6, 1 and -4, -3. Okay, and if we just got to write the equation of those lines, we start and we find our slope. Slope is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And it doesn't really seem like there's a whole lot. It's going to make subtraction much easier or more difficult. So I'm going to call -6x sub 1, 1 as y sub 1, which means -4 is x sub 2, and -3 is y sub 2. So I'm going to take -3 minus 1 all over -4 minus a -6. Which is going to give me a -4 over 2, which is -2. So I've got a slope of -2 here. So I have the equation y equals -2x plus b. And I got to plug in one of my points. Less negatives going on here. I know you guys don't like those, so you can avoid them if you would like. So plug in 1 for y, -2 times -6 plus b. Okay, just plug in those points, and I get 1 is equal to -2 times -6 gives me 12 plus b. Subtract my 12 from both sides, and I get -11 is equal to b. So that gives me the equation y equals -2x minus 11. And there's the equation for line AB. Okay, just a side note, you want to see x and y in your equations. Don't plug in your point there. Okay, leave those, they're placeholders, we will use those. So there's line AB. For line BC, if I could trace a little better, that'd work a little nicer. Okay, we're going to use the points, -4, -3, and 2, 0. Again, start by finding my slope. And I'll label -4, -3 as x sub 1 and y sub 1, which will make 2, 0, x sub 2, and y sub 2. So to find my slope, use the same slope formula that we've been using. I'm going to take 0 minus a -3 all over 2 minus a -4. With both of these, I add the opposite, so double negatives turn into adding positives. So I take 0 plus 3 to get 3 over 2 plus 4, which is 6. Reduce my fraction down. They're both divisible by 3. And I get a slope of 1/2. So I have the equation y equals 1/2 x plus b. And I like to plug in the point 2, 0. Why? Because I have a 0. 0 tends to make things nice for me. So I plug in, I get 0 is equal to 1/2 times 2 plus b. Half of 2 is 1 plus b, and subtract 1 from both sides. I get -1 is equal to b. So I can clean up my equation, make it look real nice. Y equals 1/2 x minus 1. Now, there's something special about these two lines. These two lines are actually what we call perpendicular. Hopefully you guys have heard that term before, perpendicular. But in case you haven't, okay, my blue and my green lines. Perpendicular just means means that the lines intersect to form a right angle. Okay, again, hopefully you guys have heard of right angles before, but if you haven't, that is an angle that measures 90 degrees exactly. Okay, so this is not really a definition that I'm going to test you guys on. Really what I want to know is I want to show you guys how to find perpendicular slopes. Okay, that's what makes lines perpendicular. Okay, so to find the perpendicular slope, okay, if I give you 1, all you have to do is take the opposite sign and the reciprocal. Okay, so opposite sign. If it's positive, you would make it negative. If it's negative, you will make it positive. And we've talked about reciprocals already this year. Okay, remember that's just where you flip your fraction. So if I scroll up here and I take a look at my two slopes, okay, I'm looking at my blue equation, y equals negative 2x minus 11. Okay, notice in my green equation, negative 2 is positive or is negative. In the green equation, it goes to positive. If I flip my fraction, remember 2 could be written as 2 over 1. Okay, if I flip that, I get 1/2. So that's all there is to finding perpendicular slopes. So hopefully it's not too terrible for you guys. And we will talk about more perpendicular slopes next time I see you guys. But for today, here's your homework. We'll check this when I get back. And you do not need to graph 30 through 35. Just do whatever else the problem tells you to, but you do not need to graph those. So if you guys have questions, let me know. Stop by sometime, shoot me an email, whatever. Other than that, that's all I have for you guys today, and I will see you guys when I get back.